So, where do writing ideas come from? I mean, it all has to start somewhere, right? So, somewhere in that brain, there's some idea. Sometimes it's hard to put it together and know where to start. Uh, you have an idea or a purpose or a message that you want to convey, something that you feel compelled to write. That's usually where it all starts. So, where do these ideas come from? I know, my family, a lot of people ask me, well, how do you get the ideas to write all of these books? Well, it starts with something that I personally like. I personally like fantasy. I like to watch fantasy on TV, movies. I also like science fiction, reading books. And so all of these things that I enjoy, I tend to, think of my own ideas that maybe are similar, but I take a twist on something that's familiar. And I think that's what a lot of fiction authors do. We pick something, everybody says, write about your real life, things that in your life you've experienced. And I think that has a lot to do with it. It's things that we find familiar as writers. And somewhere along the line, that idea becomes more than just an idea, and it starts to become a story or a purpose or a theme that we feel, the world is missing. And so you feel compelled to write that um, and to share that story with the world because you believe that there's an audience out there for that story. Um, if you find it hard to pick an idea, start with things that you like, and put an interesting twist on it. I mean, how many times have people told fairy tales? They've told fairy tales for centuries, but each time there's a new twist on it. I mean, how many times can you tell Cinderella and change it up? Or Snow White? We even had Sleeping Beauty. Perfect example, taking a twist on it rather than, Aurora being your main character, they switched it around and made Maleficent the main character, through the eyes of a villain or through the eyes of somebody else in the story, as a new perspective on an old story that brings new life to it. How many Batman movies can we have? I mean, you kind of had the, I'm going to call them kind of hokey, comic-y ones. The first ones the one with Michael Keaton was pretty good, but then they kind of got kind of hokey from then on. But, Batman's a comic, so you kind of expect some level of hokiness. But then you have like Dark Knight, which was very gritty and dark. It had a different kind of feel to it. So, in the essence, it's the same general story, just each writer or creator puts an interesting twist on it. So, you could think of it from that perspective. I have a lot of authors that say, hey, I have so many ideas, I don't know which one to pick. That can be a problem as well. A lot of authors carry around a notebook and they have just idea after idea, and they have no idea how they want to move forward, to pick one to move forward. I do have a method that I use whenever I get too many ideas and I can't decide what I want to do next. I do write down ideas and keep them. I do try to store them. They kind of end up on the back burner because you can only do so many things. But I have what I call the Post-it note method. Now, for an idea to make it to the Post-it note, it has to be solid. So there has to be some purpose to it, and there has to be more than just a generalized idea. It has to be like, I'm seeing a main character, I kind of have a setting, maybe there's a message that I want to convey, something that compels me, that this story feels more like a well-rounded idea than just that kind of sounds interesting. Maybe I'll try something like that. It has more solid pieces to it. There's So what I'll do is I'll take those ones that have, the most consistency to them, and I'll write the idea on a Post-it note. I will then put all of those Post-it notes on a place that I look every day. So I have a big giant mirror in my bathroom. So I like to put them on my bathroom mirror. And while I'm brushing my teeth in the morning, I read each one of them and I kind of give them a good think. And after I review them all, I decide to eliminate one. Okay, so you have to look at them all. Which one is the least compelling to me? And you remove it from the bathroom mirror or the refrigerator or the back of the front door, before you leave the house, whatever it might be. Maybe it's, I don't know. I can't think of any other places to put it, just wherever you happen to be. On your bottom of your computer screen, I have a bunch of Post-it notes there. They're not ideas, but so you remove one every day until you're left with the one idea that should be your most compelling story idea. And so then okay, this is my story. This is where I'm going to start. And you kind of have to put the rest of them in a book, close the book, lock it in a drawer, put it in a safe, wherever you can keep that idea away from you, just to focus on the one idea that you've chosen. That should also help you mentally prepare for it, in the fact that, you are letting go mentally of all these other ideas and you are making one lone idea your focal point. And that's kind of how I narrow it down to my ideas and how I brainstorm them. So until next time.